We're going to move on to one of the, I think it's probably the craziest ones of it all. This is by The Guardian. Give me a second. Again, we'll take a drink here. All right. So this is The Guardian. It's been 10 years since GamerGate. The industry must now stand up to far-right trolls. It makes no bones about what it's going to be talking about here. By Kenza McDonald, who is something. Conspiracy theorists. This is just going all out. Kenza McDonald, I can tell, had fun writing this article. It's insane, but I'm sure they really enjoyed it. Conspiracy theorists are still routinely targeting and abusing women and woke game consultants. With a small studio currently under fire, the games industry silence is deafening. Again, had nothing to do with this person trying to get some guy to lose access to all his games. 10 years ago, a game developer grieved ex-boyfriend published a vindictive screed, accusing her of trading sex for favorable reviews of her indie game, which she did. This was leapt upon by the least savory corner of the 2014 internet, 4chan. Kicked off a harassment campaign that broadened to include all women working in the video game development or gaming press, as well as the interestees LGBTQ community. Sensing blood in the water, alt-right agitators on YouTube and Steve Bannon's Breitbart jumped on the bandwagon soon began to steer it and GamerGate as the manufactured outrage became known and mutated into one of the first fronts of the modern culture war, driven by social media, misogyny, and weaponized disaffection of young men. Many of its tactics became part of the Donald Trump election playbook. Man, what a first paragraph. I kind of like it, honestly. It's fun. This is my type of insanity right here. I mean, as a serious article, it's completely ridiculous. But as just craziness put on a page, I kind of respect it. It's got everything. It's got misogyny. It's got disaffected young men in it. And of course, you got to bring it back to Donald Trump's election. Come on. This week, a 16-person narrative design studio found itself at the center of a conspiracy theory that holds it responsible for the insidious prevalence of wokery in modern video games. A group with more than 20,000 followers. Again, 200,000. You can see how late the sort of timeline, because this Discord group just gets bigger and bigger. Followers on the PC game front, Steam, as well as thousands of the Discord channel chat, believes that Sweet Baby Inc. is seriously forcing developers to change the bodies, ethnicities, and sexualities of video game characters to conform to woke ideology. They think that Sweet Baby Inc. has written and controlled almost every popular video games of the past 5 years, shutting straight white men out. Just hitting all of it. Straight white men. We got that in too. As Trump. You gotta mention Trump again. As Trump once again heads out on the campaign trail. This is a part of a broader far-right panic about diversity and inclusion that has already resulted in proposed regressive anti-women, anti-woke legislation in the U.S. and elsewhere. Whew. Damn. She's a great comedy writer, Kenza McDonald. It's just amazing. This is just amazing. I don't even know what to comment on this. She just says it so well. Just how crazy it is. Kenza McDonald. Just hitting all the talking points. Trump. Straight white men. Woke ideologies. Crazy. These crazy straight white men being led by Donald Trump. It's all connected. And apparently we're the crazy ones here. We're the crazy ones in this. Not the person that wrote this article. It's come, of course, they follow the same talking points. Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do that. They just help people do that. Help game developers ensure their plots make sense and their characters aren't embarrassingly out of touch. And this is what they mean by embarrassingly out of touch. I mean, they look like this. And this is what, again, Digital Foundry put it best when they said, like, oh, this character design looks like something out of the early 2000s. It's problematic. You know, the face looks good, but everything below that, ooh, that's something wrong with that. We can't have that. This is what in touch looks like. This is what out of touch looks like. Right here. This is what they mean. The consultancy mission statement is to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive. Again, really doubting the more fun part. And probably more meaningful. It cannot dictate developers' feature, for example, a black female leads in their game. It does not have the power to dictate anything. But its employees are nonetheless bearing the brunt of the online mind's ire. Again, true. They don't do this stuff. But they've been doxxed, threatened, and abused online. Again, no mention in this article. You'll be shocked to know that this article does not mention the part where they told people to report the group and report the creator of the group. Again, hoping that they lose access to their games. Won't be mentioned that they started it. That they're the ones that kind of got this whole ball rolling with their initial attack. And then it goes Nathan Grayson with Aftermath. This is like a Kotaku spin-off. And Alyssa Mercante of Kotaku, both of them guessed it. Again, Melissa Mercante right here. More white people need to get their ass beat on the reg, Alyssa Mercante. Decided to investigate. And then they'll bring out Baldur's Gate 3, and then the abuse, including pride flags. A full 90% of deaths surveyed at the Game Developers Conference last year said that harassment from players were an issue. That's, you know, hey, most of the stuff is just like, hey, this sucks. This is a bug. I guarantee you, like, wow, you did a crap job of balancing. When GamerGate was going on, silence for most of the video. And this is where we get into the shaming the industry portion of this. So first part, they set up how, you know, it's straight white men, Donald Trump, disenfranchised males that are, you know, behind these sort of insidious, they decided to target this poor developer that totally didn't try to get a guy canceled, try to get a guy removed from Steam and lose access to his games. But now that she set this up, that it's Trump and white men that are sort of harassing these poor people. Now we need the industry. Now we need to guilt trip the industry and people into conforming. Their silence is deafening. I love it. I love that phrase. Silence from most of the game industry was deafening. Instead of standing up for people that were being targeted, almost everyone who wasn't directly attacked by the gamer mob stuck their finger in the ears and instead pretended it wasn't happening. In other words, most people just didn't care. Because why would they? Like, hey, I'm busy making a game. I'm not here to fight a fight that doesn't involve me. A sizable part of their audience failed to speak out in defense of women until it was too late. We're almost done, and I need to move on. It's been over an hour. But we've also learned that ignoring them does not help. It only makes things worse. People working at Sweet Baby Inc. should not be left to suffer on behalf. Yeah, they shouldn't be held accountable for their crappy actions. Individual developers are braver these days about speaking out on social media. The director of Alan Wake posted that conspiracy theories claiming forced the developer to make the character black. Also tweeted strong denials. And the Marvel Spider-Man developer tweeted strong, but companies themselves need to follow suit. You need to step in line. Publishers and developers have worked with Sweet Baby Inc., including Warner Brothers Games, PlayStation, and Santa Monica Studios. Where are their statements of support? Where are you guys at? Are you going to publicly defend the people who worked on your multi-million-dollar games from false accusations? Or let the trolls control the narrative? Ah, yes. Do you want to ignore the fact that Sweet Baby Inc. is in this mess because somebody tried to, again, report the creator and lose all their games? Are you just going to ignore that and then defend them for no reason? Nobody is forcing diversity into video games. It's happening naturally. Again, it's happening naturally because of the culture that is, again, slowly making men and their sexuality seem more and more immoral. Players and developers themselves diversify. It's happening naturally as players and developers themselves diversify. GamerGate, well, naturally. DEI has nothing to do with it. GamerGate didn't intimidate women out of the video game industry 10 years ago, and we won't be intimidated now. I know, it's unfortunate that they didn't. They weren't successful, and they won't be successful again, sad to say. The game industry knows that a greater breadth of content featuring a greater breadth of characters made with contribution to a greater breadth of people is good for your creativity and for business. Doubtful. No matter what some aggrieved gamers may think, this time it must make its support perfectly and unequivocally clear. Again, what a insane article. It's got everything. It's got Trump. It's got white men abusing women. And of course, a call that you need to speak up. Warner Brothers, place to Santa Monica Studios. If you don't, you're going to let them win. You'll let Trump win if you don't speak up.